Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. As a part of Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, we are just glancing roughly at the life of Sri Ramakrishna. When you get time, go through the detailed life of Sri Ramakrishna. It will help your spiritual awakening. Otherwise, we will either live at human level or at animal level, or in a dream state of doing spiritual practices without endlessly we will be doing, without any developments, changes in us. So, right way to do sadhana without wasting time in external things, to go deep into the realities of existence, where we have to go is our existential base. Any amount of external, see the conversation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda. There he asks about divine love, and each time he answers, including total dedication to the cause. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, goes on telling, that is external. That is external. Where is the pith? Where is the essence? Where is the innermost core of sadhana? How to differentiate between the essentials and non-essentials? How to go beyond the limitations and in shorter time to finish the sadhana. Any amount of efforts that we put in sadhana, all the energies that we spend must be in proper direction, and without energy waste, time waste should not be there. Life is so short, we do not even know when the end is going to come and how the end is going to come. Before, as early as possible, before any calamity takes place, we have to finish our sadhana. We have to take up spiritual practices with great interest, with total dedication, and constantly remain in tune with nature and God, so that our intuitive power increases. We hear many things, we read many things, but each soul has got a specific path to go, his own. Others, we cannot even adopt even a little of the other's life or path. That is decided by, just like each food that we digest, how certain food we don't digest, certain food how much of we digest, what do we digest, what is thrown away, everything is decided by nature. Like that, our path, what we need in spiritual path, What we don't need is decided by. So, reading the life of Sri Ramakrishna will give you the correct understanding of the path to God. What will be my path? What exactly, how I have to go, how to depend on God, how to depend on nature, how to depend on Guru, what is the reality. All this we come to know when we read the life of. Teachings will give you the path in general. Life will intuitively give you your path. Life and what Sri Ramakrishna gives us as message is tallies, every bit tallies with the Vedic understanding, Vedic knowledge, knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, the Prasthanatraya, you can say, what Upanishad says. He has not told anything new other than the what sages have told. But how to adopt in our life individually, we come to know when we walk with him in his life. So, even while reading, pray, 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 constant, unbroken, unceasing prayer must go on with every act of yours. You are thinking, you are reading, adhyana. Otherwise, it will not open up. What is the secret will not open up. External, only external meaning alone it gives. If there is internal meaning. As you progress, you will start seeing new meaning of the same words of the Master, same Bhagavad Gita. It goes on giving you new understanding, new message. The same words are getting given. Oh, 2 years back I thought this is the meaning. Now they entirely we discard that meaning. And because our stage was that we could understand that way. So many times many people will be telling something about Bhagavad Gita. It is something not so essential for sadhana. Some people, but we see it, the all aspects of God, all aspects of spiritual life are enshrined in it. Very difficult to understand. Turiyananji Maharaj, after realization, every day he used to read and enjoy it. Whole Bhagavad Gita he used to read. So, our stage is such, we don't find anything in that. As we spiritually progress and go, we go on. How much necessity the life of a avatara incarnation, we will know. And when someone who is advanced in spiritual life or who is a realized soul writes on it, comments on it, it will be wonderful. Like Shankaracharya writes Bhashya on that, other Sureshwaracharya, this, that, write commentary, explaining what he has explained. So, those are authentic understandings. How does a realized soul see it and give to the, simplify it and give to the lower level? Like that, we have to go through in a different style, different way, even to understand what it means. But go on reading, whole life, just like we read Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, almost all Ramakrishnites, like Vaishnavas reading Bhagavata every day, we read before going to bed, so that the inspiration keeps on The inner fire doesn't get quenched. It never gets tired. Body and mind never gets tired of sadhana. Oh, I have been doing from so many years. Now let me relax. No. It goes on intensifying. Why yet not? Why yet not? So, that is the, but here I am just glancing through, and here we see an important character appearing on the stage, to build a stage for the incarnation, to play a divine drama, a wonderful drama that is going to transform the world and carry the message for thousands of years to come. We are still at the just beginning of the era, new era. Imagine after 1,000 years what would be the state. So much of commotion, transformation is going on at the gross physical level. Spiritual message to grab, to understand, to imbibe, to be receptive to it, it needs suffering. Suffering is the necessary precondition of evolution. The wisdom that is got from suffering is the real wisdom. Those who have suffered a lot in their life, they can understand better the spiritual essence. And viveka, most important part in spiritual life is viveka. How to live, how not to live, how to do, what to do, when to do, how to avoid, how to embrace, what not to embrace. All this is decided by the viveka. It should not be our vasanas. Presently our likes and dislikes, vasanas guide us. The viveka must guide. And behind the viveka, there must be the wisdom. Wisdom that comes from suffering, and the other is the wisdom that comes from intuition. When you are one with nature and God, intuitive understanding, wisdom comes. Other is the wisdom that comes from lot of suffering. So these are essential factors. So here we see Rani Rasmani appearing to create a stage for Sri Ramakrishna. Wonderful life of that lady, born in 1793 to parents. Mother's name is Ramapriya, associated with Rama, and father's name is Hare Krishna. There we see Rama and Krishna, how the nature means their family tradition we can see, because the incarnation which is going to come and appear is going to transform the whole social structure. The reformation at a different level. And Rani Rasmani has to prepare the whole stage. Sri Ramakrishna was born in 1836 and she has come much earlier, 1793, 45 years before Sri Ramakrishna could. And she gets married at the age of 10. Rajchandra Das, They belong to the Das family, who accepts themselves as the servant of the Lord, servant of the society. So, the family tradition, you see, from childhood she develops fine nature, absolute purity, and then pure devotion to God. And then Sri Ramakrishna is going to appear in the stage. Before that she has to complete many things. As soon as she gets married and enters the house, all will be happy. Because of her nature, one thing is, the divine nature, she is commissioned to work for the Lord. So, what could be her spiritual status and what divinity she might be radiating wherever she goes or wherever she lives. So, you see the divine nature, and they belong to a very rich family. Aristocratic family with all convenience and necessities, jamindars giving support and life to many people. And after her going, their riches and fame expands. So everybody will feel she is a fortunate girl who has entered, because of which we have been progressing. Not only material progress, but peace at home. Srimatam Gehe. So that Srimatam Gehe Yoga Brashtopajayate. So Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe. That Shuchitva, the purity, the divinity she radiates, pleases everyone. And she will be one of the centers. As she grows, she will become a center of uniting the whole family. But here Sri Ramakrishna is to take birth, God has to incarnate, the whole platform has to be ready. 1836, Sri Ramakrishna is born. 1836, her husband passes away. And 2 years before, 1833, one of the daughters, Karunamayi, passes away. Thakur doesn't see them. And then the other daughter, Kumari, passes away, 1837. Imagine the status in which her mind would be. With great difficulties, they get the daughters married, usually, because of the status, social status, and the work they do to the society. They cannot be easily relationships and all. Searching, equals, all that. And then equals means not material wise. The devotional aspect, the another aspect of life is there, which radiates peace, purity, divinity and all that. That type. A pious girl must be given to a pious man. There must be piety, purity at home. May not be equal in wealth and possessions, but nature, the kindness, the love, the compassion they express, that must be equal. And everything when smoothly, nicely going on. Just 2 years after her marriage, she passes away. Karunamayi passes away, 33. And then somehow she is picking up her life. Daughter has died. 33, 36, her husband passes away. That will be a tremendous shock to her. Unimaginable. She'll be out of control. She cannot. But still, her intelligence, her capacity, her dependence on God, only factor that saves her in all these situations is her trust in Divine Mother, her Ishtadevata. Because she has not yet come to know the purpose for which she has come to this world. But she goes on doing good. From early life, you see her everywhere sacrificing. Now she takes the hold of her husband's property and estate and starts managing, and she was trained well, and her own internal capabilities was growing to the sufficient stage that she can manage huge estates. Her son-in-law, Mathurnath Vishwas, gives a grand support to her, and she totally depends for all external things upon him. In management of the estates, she herself is known to be very challenging woman with extreme intelligence in business activities. And the way in which she is to protect and shield the poor people because of the British government and face the Britishers. The government challenged them in court and in public was excellent, just without any personal benefit, only for the sake of poor and suffering people. She understands the life, they don't. So, Indian nature alone can understand Indian problems. Westerners cannot understand the Indian problems. She was able to feel, she was able to dedicate, she was able to, and in a planned way, she used to do the social service, like building roads. Up to Puri, she builds road for pilgrims to go. Imagine, even today, there are people possessing thousands of crores of rupees. Thousands of crores. One road nobody has done. One road. Nobody has done. In those days, you see, she is doing such public, number of ghats she builds in Ganga for people to go take bath and come. Every field, so many bazaars she builds for people to sell and buy, convenient places. They have to walk miles together. Now, they here and there, nearby, wherever there is possibility, wherever the things can appear and people can exchange their commodities, there she builds bazaars. So many philanthropic works, and this is a part of planned social service. There was social service is one part, charity is another part. Who is in personally, individually in need. Somebody is suffering from some disease, somebody is not having sufficient food to eat. All these transformations, all these needs being supplied time to time to not unintelligently, with great care, with all efforts he is to do. One prince, he was to go to England, go away he pledges his property to her, about some huge land. It belongs to, it is a part of the Sundarbans. She will be possessing that. There it is a smashy water bomb logged area. People called thongs come and slowly occupy those places in huge numbers, and they used to plunder people going in the here and there and do the living, looting the people in the streets and making their living. She comes to know it is in her charge. It is pledged. She may have to give back. He is a prince who owned it, Dwarkanath. And then she goes to them, meets them, transforms them, makes them build fisheries, and it becomes a huge affair of building up a fine institution like comes up with all them. They completely get, their life transforms. It is a community. It becomes a fisherman community. Means a woman, what she is doing, you see. All this happened before Sri Ramakrishna comes there, and she builds the Dakshineswar temple. With all this, when she is ripe enough to do the God's work, there must be some spiritual maturity, some divine link she must get. Now with all these sacrifices, with all this dedication, with all these things, she gets direct link to the divine. Many times she gets the visions also before this. Even before marriage, she gets 1 or 2 visions. Her spiritual status cannot be gauged by us. Now she gets the command from Divine Mother to build a temple. This is in those days, the Brahminical hold was very strong, and it was not accepted because she belonged to a lower class, though well known to people and highly respected in society because of the services she renders, and her challenging government and protecting people becomes door-to-door affair. Every house they will be talking about this. Rani Rasmani, Rani Rasmani. So this was going on, and then she gets the commandment from Divine Mother, build a temple for me. See how much of dedication must be there in you, how much unselfishness must be there, how much of your spiritual essence must be radiating outside, divinity must be just to get a link to the divine, to get the divine orders. She is prepared. She is made now to do the work of the Lord. And her building this temple, we will see tomorrow, how beautifully this itself, she buys about 20 acres of land and starts dedicating, building up. And how she does all this is a wonderful thing. We will be surprised, and it's a great wonder how she does this. It's a part of the social reform. She herself being a low caste, she building a temple which Brahmins are not accepting it. Though she is well known, she is so much honored. People fall at her feet out of gratitude and joy. Yet, the Brahminical power was there that you cannot do anything with that temple. But she lovingly does this because the orders of divine will supersede the human orders. Brahmins may say anything, but they don't know God is going to come and start the worship there. Everybody used to say, who will take that? Who will do the worship? No Brahmin can do worship there. But they don't know God is going to do the worship if Brahmin do not do. Now, it's a great wonder. This is social reform, essential social reform that is taking place. We'll see you tomorrow. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.